Well, thank you. So for my 5-minute presentation, I'm going to talk about an instructor's use of questions to facilitate learning objectives, to achieve those learning objectives. So do you feel, when you were in classes, do you feel you learn more when an instructor asks questions? Well, to ensure that the lesson learning objectives are reached, an instructor should ask both questions and encourage students to ask questions. This brief presentation will note the value of the questions that the instructors ask. It will review the 5 types of questions, and it will include a brief quiz, and it will conclude with a question and answer session. So, an instructor's use of questions serve many purposes. Questioning determines if the learning lessons objectives is achieved. That's the most important part. And then it helps an instructor decide to, again, if they need to review material or to use a different explanation. It helps an instructor better tailor the presentation or use other tools or training tools. And finally, questions increase class participation and allows everyone to get a chance to participate. Now, there are 5 different types of questions. Good instructors keep instructions interesting and achieve lesson learning objectives. The first type is a closed question. It produces a very specific answer, such as yes or no, or an either or very factual answer. And trainers use them to test for knowledge about simple factual details. The next type is an open question. It invites class participation and gains detailed answers. And learners often share the knowledge that they've built on their jobs or other experiences. Now, reflective questions. They prompt learners to reflect back on what they've learned, or to think through things that, about their knowledge or their experience. General to specific questions are a series that start out to gain broad answers, and then to move down to gain more specific answers about a topic. For example, the 5 whys in problem-solving exercise is an example of a general to specific questions. And finally, the 5th type, feeling questions, draw out a learner's feelings about an abstract topic, and they can increase both personal understanding among participants and self-motivation to achieve a goal. So next, we're going to have a quiz on questions. How about that? So, first question, there's 4 questions. You have to tell me what type of questions that they are. The first question is, tell me about a situation in which you disagreed about a work company policy. Well, that's a reflective question because it's asking you to reflect back on something, on an experience that you had or something possibly at a job. That's a great interview question. The next question is, how would you feel if we changed the program to include more online learning? Well, that's a feeling question because, again, well, you have the word feel, but it's trying to elicit emotion about a policy or a project or a change. Next question is, what factors would you consider when determining a manufacturing process layout? In that case, this is going to be a open question because it's wants to get a very detailed answer, which is not yes or no, and it's to provide information that you have learned in your job experience. And finally, why did the cost to produce the part increase? I'm not sure if this is backwards on the camera. Let me see. Yeah, it is. Sorry about that. So in this situation, it's trying to solve a problem, which was decreased cost. So it wants various broad information and then funnel down to specific problems where you can solve a specific problem, to solve the bigger problem. Okay, so in summary, to help ensure that learners achieve lesson learning objectives, instructors should both use many questions and encourage lessons from their learners to ask questions. And using many questions, many types of questions, help instructors better tailor their presentations, makes presentations more interesting, and trains learners better. Do you have any questions? So that was 5:16.